These guys are ridiculous. These guys are ridiculous.
Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back with another episode of How About Them Celtics. Sam and I are here recording on Friday, August 16th, with plenty of Celtics stuff to talk about. And look at that, 30 seconds into the pod. I already lied to you. There's nothing to talk about, but we made up enough stuff.
That's not true. This video is however long that it ends up being. And you should stick around and watch all of it. Jack, please stop driving people away from our content.
Squeeze stuff out. Hey, if anything, they should be excited that we found enough stuff to put together a show for however long.
We should get the Purple Heart for doing shows in August and September.
Man, we've got enough
Who's
stuff
braver
today.
than us?
We actually do have a long list of stuff to talk about. Just how much of it is legitimate, real. Like we got you. We
need
put
all
together
of you to
enough stuff
actually
for you.
watch and then tell us in the comments whether you think it is legit or not. You have to watch the whole thing. That way you know.
And also give us ideas of what you wanted to see us talk about in the next 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks.
We should have some good stuff coming up for you in the next week, different guests and stuff. But
yeah.
But trying to keep
in general,
keep it fresh.
Help us out. Anyways, let's start with last episode we talked about the schedule. So Sam and I are going to give each of our top 5 games we're most excited for, which will create a top 10 because we're going to do it like a draft. So we're not going to pick the same one. So effectively, this is effectively your top 10 Celtics games you should be excited to watch this season. Do you want first pick? I'll give you first pick.
Can we do a coin flip?
Sure. You want to here? I'll pull it up on this. The screen for you. Audio listeners will have to listen to our play-by-play, but let me open up Google.
Imagine actually be able to do a drum roll, with your hands.
Having a drum.
Or
all right.
On your
call it, Sam. Heads or tails?
Tails.
All right. Say tails. All right, so you get first pick, brother. There you go.
Opening night, ring night, easy first pick. This game is going to be must-see for many reasons. First and foremost, getting to see the Celtics all be rewarded their championship rings after winning Banner 18 last spring. Summer. Spring, technically, still. Is going to be a special moment. Getting to see Banner 18 go to the rafters, also going to be a special moment. And then the fun doesn't stop there. Once tip-off actually happens, time to study. Time to take in all of the information you're getting because the Celtics start the season with a massive test. The Knicks, who have been touted probably the biggest challenger to them this season in the East, will be in town. You're going to get your first look at Mikal Bridges playing for the Knicks in a competitive game, not preseason. And you're going to get to see how Tatum and Brown fare against New York's defensive wings without Porzingis out there. Mm-hmm. So there's just going to be so much to look for. The game is going to bring a ton of juice. The home crowd's going to be ready to roll. The Knicks fans are going to have a championship parade outside if they win. So you should be ready. It's going to be must-see basketball, and the NBA made a brilliant play by making that the very first game of the season.
Definitely. I'm going to go a slightly different route. Instead of choosing something like a player return, ring night, something like that, I'm just going to choose what I think is going to be the best game of the season, and that is just the first time they played the Nuggets. So at Denver, January 7th. I just think last season, when they played the Nuggets, it was the best games plural of the regular season and the playoffs combined. I think they were entertaining throughout. I know the Celtics lost both of them, but I think that's a reason why it's going to be one of the best ones this year too, because fans are going to be eager to see if they could beat the Nuggets. And the Nuggets are obviously going to be in the title race this year again, or the playoff race at the very least. And so I'm excited to watch them play Denver. I think it'll be just great basketball. And even if the Celtics blow them out, I think it'll be like, oh wow, they can beat up on the Nuggets too. So I'm excited to watch them play Denver. I still think Denver is probably the top team in the West that the Celtics need to worry about.
You think so? Is it just a Celtics thing, or
no? I still think Denver is the best team in the West. I think they were the best team in the West last year.
All the guys they keep losing.
Yeah, Jokic. Yeah, I think he's just that far and away the best player in the world. I think Jamal Murray is a damn good player. I think Michael Porter Jr. is good at what he does. Losing KCP definitely hurts, but I think Christian Brown can take a step up. I think Peyton Watson can take a step up. I just think they will be fine. Like I'm not too worried about the Nuggets. Aaron Gordon obviously is a damn good player. I think Russell Westbrook's weird fit there, but I think it is fun. I'm interested to see how it plays out at the very least.
Him and Jokic can have a triple-double pissing contest.
Yeah, I still think the Nuggets are going to be the team to beat in the West.
Just feels like they're playing Jenga.
They're playing with fire for sure, but
Yeah.
I mean, you have Jokic, you can burn your hands all you want, you'll still be fine.
All right, second pick for you.
Oh, I get 2. It's that type of snake.
Snake
Okay,
draft.
okay.
That's what I said.
I know, but it just feels like 2-person snake draft doesn't always work.
That'll work.
Okay. Then I'm gonna go Grizzlies at TD Garden.
Good pick.
I'm just gonna go Marcus coming back. That'll be versus Grizzlies December 7th. Marcus Smart's first time playing the Celtics since knock on wood, if he's not hurt, since being traded. I just think the Grizzlies are going to be a good team in the West as well. So on top of Marcus Smart returning to TD Garden for the first time playing against the Celtics, it's just going to be a good basketball game. And that's probably by and large what I'm going to choose for these, just because I like to see them play in competitive games, not against the Bulls and the Nets and the Wizards. So I'll go with that. I think Marcus returns enough intrigue actually on the court, and I think the Grizzlies are a good team. They'll be good again next year after a down year. So I think that's the number 2 for me.
Yeah, I would have picked that. Son of a bitch. Okay. Philly Christmas. I'm making the most square picks ever, but on top of it being the Christmas Day game, it is the NBA's probably biggest day of the regular season. You're also, let me double check this to make sure I'm not speaking out of turn. Yeah, first look at the 76ers with Paul George. It's going to be a big day at TD Garden. The fans will be ready to go. People, as the years go on, seem to be getting more and more sick of Joel Embiid. So they'll have the juice behind them booing him in that sense too. But seriously, you mentioned just good basketball. This is going to be another opportunity to see 2 of the top teams in the Eastern Conference go at it. This is the first time you're going to get to see Philadelphia now that they have Paul George. Philadelphia has always been the little brother to Boston. Did they do enough this summer? The stage will be set. It could be a Porzingis debut. There's so many storylines that'll be going as this game rolls around. It's going to be interesting because Philly, it feels like they eventually are going to have to be threatening at some point with Embiid. Maybe they won't be, but it feels like they're due to be a real threat. This could be the year, and this is going to be a game that both sides are like unequivocally going to want to win. Like you probably will not be able to chalk this up to, it's just the regular season and who really cares? Like this team was on a back-to-back. Like, nope, no Christmas Eve games. Nobody's on a back-to-back. Everybody's ready. You might even have both teams fully healthy. So that's my first pick.
Yep. What you got?
Next pick. I don't think I'm going to get it if I go again.
Okay.
I'm going to go Lakers at Boston. Those are usually some of my favorite games of the year. I think you always get a good crowd. The people hate LeBron. They boo him every time he touches the ball. For me, very sentimental, as I also don't like LeBron. So when everybody kind of unites in that sense, it's going to be nice. The thing that's going to be fun about this one is you're going to have 2 LeBrons because now you have Bronny if he isn't with the South Bay Lakers when this rolls around.
Yeah.
But it's Bronny's Boston debut. If you are a LeBron person, this is one of the last times you're probably going to see him at TD Garden. He's only got a year, 3 years probably tops left. I mean, they don't come more than once a year. They're not going to be in the finals, so you don't have to worry about that. You only get to see him so many times. So if you want to take that angle, you can too. But Celtics Lakers is always juiced. I think maybe it's just because I like watching home games better, but when it's here, it feels like it has even more fire behind it.
Sure.
So that's going to be my third pick is Celtics Lakers. Plus they owe them one after D'Angelo Russell and Jackson Hayes beat them at TD Garden last year.
Yeah. I'm going to go back to that same road trip and another game I think want to watch. The first time they play the Thunder. Thunder were one of the few teams to beat them last year. I know they got their get back, but I think anytime you play the Thunder, it is just going to be a good game. I think seeing the Celtics take on the best teams in the Western Conference is fun. So I'm going to go just at Thunder January 5th for no other reason than I think it'll be a really good game. And I'll pick that. Similar reason, I'm going to go the Pacers. The first time they play the Pacers this season. I think whenever they play the Pacers, it's a fun time. I think the draw of a rematch from the Western Conference Finals is good. I'm only picking away games, by the way, just because I want to go with the first time they play them. I just think that's intrigue. It's not because I don't like watching them at home or whatever, blah, blah, blah. I just am going with
Jack
the first time
hates
they play
going.
these teams. But I think Pacers games are always good ones, and so I think that'll be another just fun game to watch. I think the Pacers are going to be pissed off that the Celtics beat them in the Eastern Conference Finals. I think the Celtics are going to know it's the Pacers and be very familiar with them, and I think they're always high-scoring, pretty fun games, and the Pacers play them pretty well. So I'll go with that one for my fourth pick.
Okay. Good picks. Pacers, very fun team to watch the Celtics play against. It's funny that we're doing this like minutes after we did the Jalen video. We watched 3 different sets of highlights from different Pacers games. My fourth pick, we're going to find out whether or not it matters if you have Aura on November 24th. Minnesota, Sunday afternoon game at Boston. You're going to get Anthony Edwards versus Tatum. Both the Minnesota Celtics games last year were absolutely classic. You had both of them went into overtime. The one in Minnesota ended up winning. Celtics had a chance to win it at the buzzer. Jalen didn't make the 3. Then the one in Boston was probably the most fun regular season game of the season. Seems like we're due for another set of fun games. This will be a good one, especially after all of the hype that the Timberwolves got going in throughout the playoffs. Anthony Edwards being deemed the next face of the NBA. I'm sure Tatum has some sort of feeling on they're like, wait, what about me? It should be me. I should be the guy that everyone cares to see. I just won a championship. Why is everyone talking about this guy? I'm sure that Anthony Edwards is a motherfucker. That dude takes everything personal. So there's going to be some sort of extra motivation on both sides for that game. It should be a really, really fun one to watch. Strange pick for the last pick. I'm going to go November 19th. Cleveland at Boston. This is an in-season tournament game. I'm an in-season NBA Cup game, rather. Sorry, Emirates NBA Cup. I'm an NBA Cup guy. This is the game of the group stage. Boston, Cleveland, the 2 legitimate contenders from Group C in the Eastern Conference. We talked about it when the slate of games came out for that competition. This should be the group decider. I'd imagine this is as competitive as a game gets in November. Cleveland, Boston, at Boston. The home crowd will probably be juiced. Feels like people really took to this competition last year after it was questioned. When it was first announced, people liked it. I just, would love it if the courts look normal.
Would be cool. I like that. I was toying with a few different options for this final pick. I almost went first Dallas game, Luka Kyrie finals rematch. That'd be fun. I almost went first game in the Intuit Dome against the Clippers because I think it'll be cool to watch them play in the new arena the
With the
Clippers
wall.
have going on with the wall. But I ended up going with versus the Spurs February 12th. Wemby. Just point blank period. Want to watch Victor Wembanyama play basketball. I think the Spurs are going to be pretty good this year. I think they added some solid players in the summer. Chris Paul, Harrison Barnes, 2 quality offseason additions. Got Stephon Castle in the draft. Probably going to roll out a starting lineup of Castle, Devin Vassell, Harrison Barnes, Keldon Johnson / Jeremy Sohan, and Victor Wembanyama. Pretty good starting 5, especially with Victor Wembanyama in there. I just think he's fun. I think he's one of the best players in the league already. I think he's a top 20 player in the league already, and he's only going to get better from here. So I think that's a fun one. Here are our picks. You can see them all written out here for you. Top 10 Celtics games you should be excited for this season. My top 5, Sam's top 5. Let us know if we missed anything you think we should have picked. Let us know if you disagree with any of the picks. But this is our unofficial, or I guess our official top 10 Celtics games to be excited for. A lot of Western Conference teams on here, Sam. I guess it's split evenly. No, it's true. I picked 4 Western Conference teams. And
3. No, I picked 3 East teams. So yeah, it's almost down the middle.
It's relatively even, I guess. Anyways, those are our games to watch from the Celtics schedule, which was just released. PrizePicks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. PrizePicks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike other apps on PrizePicks, it's just you against the numbers. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. Get in on the daily action with your friends and become a part of the PrizePicks community today. With PrizePicks, you could turn $10 into $1,000 while watching Team USA rack up the gold medals this summer. You can make a PrizePicks lineup of players across basketball, soccer, tennis, golf, and more in as little as 60 seconds. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and you're locked in. PrizePicks is available in more than 30 states across the country, including California, Texas, and Georgia. Sam and I use PrizePicks all throughout the NBA playoffs as the Celtics were making their run. If you guys tuned into the pregame show, you saw it. We like Drew Holiday blocks. We always picked Jason Tatum to get a dunk. That was a lock for us. And we always picked less on the opposing stars' points. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. That's code CLNS on PrizePicks for a deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. Speaking of the Celtics schedule, ticket prices, Sam. If you want to go to a Celtics game this year, get ready to pay, buddy.
If you want to go to opening night this year, get a second job.
Good luck. You're not going to open the night.
On Twitter, Mike Dinan put out a tweet with the screenshots.
Mike Dinan?
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what?
He put out a tweet with the screenshots of the prices. Not very good for your wallet if you want to go see them raise bid or 18. I mean, it's understandable, but the issue here comes from the base price of these tickets. So these tickets are priced at like $500-$600. They're not resale. Like, this is the team selling them at face value for this much money. Like, people are going to pay it. I understand. Well, like, it is a...
The ones on Twitter are resale.
Okay,
the ones you're showing here are resale.
For what it's worth, I've seen ones that were not resale that were around the same price. Like,
sure, yeah.
If you want to go to this game, regardless if you get it through resale, if you get it directly from the team, you're going to have to pay out the ass.
Directly from the team. I'm just looking on Ticketmaster here.
They may be sold out at this point.
Yeah, it's all just verified resale tickets, so you're cooked.
I did.
It has gone down a little. It's $456, so you can save $80 to go still. But yeah, they're
the thing is, I was like, oh shit, maybe I'll pay to go to that game this year. Not paying.
Thoughts? Not going to pay to go to the game anymore.
I also might just be able to get in.
Sure, worth checking.
Blog.
I will. Hey, October 28th versus the Bucks isn't too bad. 135. 135 is the cheapest tickets. It's still a lot, but like game against the Bucks, that's not.
Well, when you compare it to opening night, everything's cheap.
It's true. Then again, you got to pay $112 to see the Brooklyn Nets come to Boston. So if that's what you're seeing, the Nets.
Should we do a quick ticket guide? Yeah. If you're trying to go to a game for cheap, don't buy Friday games because they're always more expensive.
Tuesday versus the Hawks could be an okay one. 79 Tuesday versus the Hawks. That might be the best you're gonna get.
In my opinion,
Cavs. Okay, can I say don't show me this again?
The best value seats are the corner loge, 9, 4. What do you think the best value is?
Balcony. Anywhere in the balcony is better value than the loge. And you cannot say anything else.
I mean, from like where you feel like you're not sitting in the nosebleeds, but you're also not paying $1 billion.
You can see fine from the balcony.
I mean, yeah, we sit on the 9th floor. Like we're fine. But
okay, so fine. Look at this Hawks game. We're at $79.
Okay.
We're talking cheapest ticket, $79, which is balcony 323. So it's right up here, right? Versus what you say is the best value, which would be, if this will let me scroll out at any faster pace.
This thing is brutal.
100. So you're going to pay an extra $120 for that.
If you're really against sitting in the balcony, it's not bad.
I feel like you are wildly overestimating how many people are against sitting in the balcony. I think that's very much a you thing.
Well, I'll sit in the balcony. I'm just saying, when I used to buy tickets, there would be times where those sections would be comparable to balcony seats. I'm telling you right now.
I don't believe you. I just straight do not believe you.
I paid
There's
double digits to sit in those sections before.
when they were like sub 500.
No. Like within the last 5 years.
Was it like 2021 when they were like 500 team?
No, because you could barely go to those games.
That's insane to me. Then the balcony tickets must have been like $20.
I'm telling you right now. It
I've
wasn't
never. That's crazy. I've never seen that, and they're sure as hell not going to be that now. If you want to sit in the lows, you're paying $200+.
Correct.
So
you're paying quite a bit to get into any game. 79 is not bad.
79 is not bad.
And this doesn't include fees, I'm guessing.
This probably doesn't include fees, correct?
Why does every site just not show you the fees?
Well, so you buy the tickets. so you.
But like
so
the secret's out. Like everybody knows about fees now. Like not including the fees is just an inconvenience.
Yeah, but they want to beat you in. That's all it is. We'll go. Yeah. I don't know, man. That's why you got to use Game Time. Buy it closer to the time. That's why you got to use Game Time. Buy tickets a little cheaper. Anyways, next thing. Paolo Banchero was recently on First Take talking to Stephen A. Smith, who asked him, how do you feel about your chances? How do you feel where you stand versus the teams like the Celtics, the Knicks, who just added Mikal Bridges, the Sixers, who just added Paul George? And Paolo Banchero said, we think we're on the same level as those guys. He said, quote, I'll read the quote from First Take here. He said, we feel like we're right there with all those teams. We got better this year. I got better. I think we should easily be a top 4, top 3 team and have a chance to win the East. Now, one, don't know what else you would say. Obviously, you're going to back your team.
We suck.
Like you're going to be good. Yeah, so obviously you're going to say that.
I hope Cooper Flag's on my team next year.
Yeah. 2, where do you think the Magic actually rank in the East if you had to place them?
So I'll answer this in a dynamic way. So it feels like Orlando could finish anywhere from 3 to 6. Like the regular season is a much different animal than like, do I fear them in a playoff series? And when it comes to Magic, maybe you do, because they do have dynamic scorers. They have strong role players. Like KCP signed there this summer. Like, they've done a good job of putting talent around Paolo and Franz. But as far as the regular season goes, like it's not unreasonable to think that they may win more games than Philadelphia if like Embiid's going to be hurt or resting. And then you have Paul George, who's in his mid-30s. Like those guys are going to miss some time, even if it's just for load management. Then you have a team like Milwaukee, who's another contending Eastern Conference team. It's like, well, Middleton's good for like 20 missed games a season. Dame continues to get old. And Giannis has had injuries in the last couple seasons. Even though he's played a lot of regular season games, his body is beginning to catch up to him a little bit, where it's like, hey, buddy, you're playing football out there, and it's not easy on the body. So Orlando could finish third. Like if they finish third, you wouldn't be like, holy shit, what the fuck happened? It'd just be like, okay, like they have guys that are durable and they want to win games and they're hungry. Like it wouldn't be outrageous. Would I put money on it? Probably not. Like they're probably like 4 or 5. They're probably going to be in the same playoff series as they were.
I don't know. I think they got pretty lucky to be 5 last year. Like look at the standings. They won the same amount of games as the Pacers and the Sixers. Only 1 fewer than the Cavs, 2 fewer than the Bucks, but also only 1 more than the Heat. Like I think they finished somewhere from 3rd, but I'd bring it down to like 8th. Like I think
so. You just think the floor is lower?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't think 3rd would be like outrageous. I also think the Bucks got like weird season vibes, and I think they'll be better than they were this year, next year. I think the Knicks will be better than they were this season, next year. I think the Sixers will be better than they were this season, next year. I think the Pacers will be better. I think the Cavs might fall off, and I think the Heat, I don't know about the Heat, but like if all of those teams I just said are better, that Celtics, Knicks, Bucks, Sixers, Pacers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 above the Magic. So if I had to guess, I'd put them like 6 riding the line of the play-in. And I think the Magic will be better too. I just don't think they'll be as better as the teams that I mentioned. Because like you got to remember, for all of you, like for you saying like, oh, you never know, maybe Embiid's hurt. Embiid was hurt for like half the season last year, and they still won that many games. Like even if he has like a slightly more healthy season than he did this year, which I'm not saying he's going to be completely healthy, but even if they load manage him, will probably play more games than he played 40, 50 games this year, if that. I don't think he even played that. Joel Embiid played, let me take a look. Maybe I'm crazy. He played 39 games this year. Even if they load manage him, he's going to play more than that. Paul George had a healthy season last year. You got Maxey, who's probably going to be better. The rest of their roster is just better. Now you got the Bucks coming in with regardless of what you think of Doc Rivers as a head coach right now, like at least a head coach that they are behind fully. And they didn't even crack 50 wins last year, and they have a 50-plus win roster for sure. Knicks are going to be better. Pacers are fresh off an Eastern Conference Finals bid. Now they have Siakam for the whole season. Like, I just think obviously they added KCP, but if that's all you did compared to like all these guys going in with these bigger moves going into next year, I'm not as confident at the Magic taking a massive jump. I almost worry they could have a Kings-esque season, like really good team this year. They made a big push, and then they fall back into the what's happening.
I feel like there's a chance that could happen with the Pacers too.
Maybe.
Like they have like a little bit of a letdown spot ahead of them. And as far as Orlando, like getting better, a lot of their growth is going to be internal. It's like, what's Paolo going to do to take another step? Is Franz going to take another step? Like
the difference is, I think the Kings quote unquote letdown spot had nothing to do with the playoffs. Like they didn't have any playoff success the year they were good. They lost in the first round, but they won a ton of regular season games. Pacers had a ton of playoff success this year, and Tyrese Halliburton was hurt for part of it. And so I think like I guess he played in 69 games, so he got hurt in the playoffs. Like you look at that, Siakam got hurt right when he got there. If they get a little bit more healthy, Ben Mathurin didn't even play in the series. Like he'll be back. I think they'll improve just by the fact of they have Siakam for the whole season now. So I don't know if that's necessarily like, I don't see them as much of a letdown team. Like maybe Sixers get hurt, maybe Bucks get hurt. Those teams are older, / injury prone. So you don't know about that. I think the Cavs, if anything, are down for a letdown season. They haven't changed in 3 years, and everyone else around them is improving, it seems. I think the Magic could finish 3, but I also think if I had to bet, are they going to finish 3 or are they going to finish 7? I'd put more money on 7 than 3.
Yeah, it's not unreasonable. Like I said, I wouldn't bet on them finishing 3, but I wouldn't be like if you told me they finished 3rd, I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, next thing, Xavier Tillman talked in Twitter Spaces about a bunch of stuff, but
the week.
Mainly, he talked about his 3-point shot in the NBA Finals. He said, "I made it, and I looked at the bench because I think Derek Lively was right behind me when I shot it, and he was like, fuck no." He didn't. He said that. So when I hit it, I looked right at him and smiled and was like, "Yep." To see the video of the bench talking about the Celtics bench, Tatum, Svi, Jaden, everyone going crazy after hit the 3. I was like, "Man, that's sweet." To see the team really hyped over something, over me making the shot, that was pretty cool. I just like Xavier Tillman, man. That was just a sick moment to see too.
It's funny that you put this on the sheet after we put up the video yesterday with Jalen's big game 3 and him assisting on that shot. And then we were like, look at the bench reaction. That needs to be a GIF. And then he was like, yeah, the bench reaction ruled. I mean, Tillman, he was somebody going into the playoffs. We really weren't sure what we were going to get from him. Joe Mazzulla clearly wasn't sure what he wanted to do with him. And then he put him out there in that game 3, and he delivered in a moment that they needed him to make a 3. He was part of the building of the lead that they eventually almost gave away in the 4th quarter of that game. But nonetheless, like, you have been extremely high on him all summer. You really feel like he's going to have a big season, and he is set up to have at least more of a opportunity this year, especially in this opening stretch with no Porzingis. You're going to have some back-to-backs where Horford doesn't play. There's going to be plenty of extra minutes at the big spot for him to thrive, him to show what he's capable of going forward down the line with these players, with the core of the team. I think if you're Xavier Tillman, you have to be thrilled about this, at least a little bit.
I mean, I was reading Jared Weiss's article from The Athletic, and he said it too. He's like, I think Xavier Tillman's going to see the most minutes and get the most court time from this group, especially with the KP injury. So I'm excited to see it. I'm very high on Tillman. I have the bet with Jake Eisenberg, obviously, about his 3-point shooting. He's just a really good guy, too. Like, I think he's just a good person to have around the team. Very versatile defender. I'm very excited to see what he can bring to the table. There's not much else to talk about with the Twitter Spaces. It's just something he said. Cool thing. Talk about Xavier Tillman for 2 minutes. But speaking of the Jared Weiss article, he noted in that Celtics ownership, or whatever version ownership, it'll be Wick Grosbeck for the next X amount of years, even though he is quote unquote selling the team. It's going to be a long process. Wants to keep this team together, and the second apron is not going to affect that. Jared Weiss wrote, quote, the presumption that nobody will pay $500 million for a single season is too strong. Everything I've heard from team sources is that the front office wants to keep this going for several years, and Drew Holiday's 4-year extension was a good indicator that this is more than a 1-year window. If Kristaps Porzingis can stay healthy, and we'll be saying that for the rest of his career, this team should remain a top contender for at least a couple of years. It doesn't seem like the second apron penalties are going to force it to take a step back before that window closes. So, sounds like everyone within the team is on board with keeping this thing rolling. Obviously, we heard Wick talk about a 6-year window at the start of the season. So sounds like they're sticking to that.
Yeah, I mean, especially with the back end of this, talking about the second apron penalties not really affecting the Celtics. This is something I feel like the two of us have been kicking around for a while, ever since we kind of found out about it, figured out what the second apron actually like means, what the penalties are. The Celtics have put themselves in a spot to perfectly combat this. They've already made all the moves that they needed to make to bring in the talent. The problem, or not even the problem, the challenge they had last season was just finding a way to secure all of these guys for the extended future. Now that you've done that, what is the second apron actually going to do to you? Nothing. Is your draft pick going to go to number 30? Sure. But it was probably going to be right around there anyway. That's what you're hoping. So why would you not pay these guys? They just won you a championship in year one together. Like, absolutely. I like to joke saying, like, not my money. I mean, we did just do the ticket prices, so it kind of is our money at this point.
Yeah, kind of.
But it's not. Like, it's not our money. Like, and it seems like ownership is like, fuck this, dude. We want to win. We have all these guys. Why would we not pay them? We gave up. We made the moves to try and bring in the talent. Have to capitalize on it. How many opportunities in any franchise's history are there when you have this level of talent throughout your lineup? Like, we talked about it all last year, the top 6. Those guys, I mean, maybe not so much Horford anymore, but the starting 5 was all all-star level players. Like, if they were given whatever usage that they need to be like the numbers guy, they probably could have got into an all-star game, all 5 of them. Holiday was an all-star the season before with Milwaukee because he was getting a lot of opportunities as a ball handler. He was being asked to score more. And he, Derek White, and even Porzingis to an extent all bought into their roles so much that nobody even cared what numbers they were putting up. It was just like, yeah, everybody kind of accepts that these guys are awesome. And if you're not watching, you may not see it in the box score.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to keep these guys together. There's no reason to break them up unless it's a money thing. And this front office has made it very clear they don't care about that. They want to win, and evidenced by they won. So
you get some loyal guys to buy the team.
It's paying off.
Then the ticket prices might be expensive.
Yeah, they will. Don't worry. They want their money back.
Loyal guys, they have endless money.
Yeah, the reason they have endless money is because they want more money, buddy. You're going to pay double for ticket prices if an oil guy
gas prices can go up. You just make it cheap to get in the garden.
No. If somebody like that buys a team, ticket prices will go up, not down. Be ready. Good luck, pal.
Well, as long as it's not Fenway Sports Group.
Yeah, anything but Fenway Sports Group. Game Time is an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to first pitch. I remember my dad taking me to Fenway Park as a kid, getting to watch David Ortiz and Dustin Pedroia sitting in the Green Monster and taking in all there is to love about the iconic ballpark. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. Taking a look at my Game Time app right now, I see plenty of great deals to watch my favorite sports teams and my favorite tickets to Noah Khan. You guys know that's my favorite artist. I even used it while in Las Vegas for Summer League to get tickets to a women's basketball game. Some of my favorite features in the Game Time app include letting me see what the price is going to be with fees included. It makes so much easier to take a look and see what the actual price I'm going to pay is. Also, you get to see exactly where you are sitting. It's a great way to know exactly the experience you're going to get. I also love the fact that you can get great last-minute deals. Save up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, or anything else. Take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CLNS for $20 off. Next thing we got, a little tease of 2K ratings have been coming out slowly. We don't have to talk about this for a long time, but it came out that Drew Holiday and Derek White are both among the top 5 defenders in the NBA, perimeter defenders, I should say. I'll share the screen here. You can see Drew Holiday has a 95 perimeter defense. He's number 1 in the league. Caruso is second at a 94. Excuse me. Herb Jones tied at a 94. Then Jalen Suggs and Derek White tied at 4 with a 93. So some of the 2 Celtics in the top 5 perimeter defenders in the league. Makes sense.
We all knew this. It's kind of funny that it feels like this statistic in game, even though it's not, all of these people deserve to be here, was driven by NBA discourse. Like people like us being like, that guy Caruso's a good defender, and everybody just kind of accepts it. The tape tells you it is.
Well, yeah, I was going to say.
The point is there's no like real metric if you're a game designer trying to put together the numbers for each player to look at and be like, okay, we can just sort by this and we can kind of rank from there. Like this has a lot of like intuition to it. You kind of have to know what you're talking about. And these are the guys that like people like us are always like, watch out for this guy. Like Herb Jones. The average NBA fan does not know Herb Jones, but like people that one would listen to a podcast like this and like care enough to learn more about the game.
Well, the comments are very mad, so you never know. It's like the people at 2K don't watch NBA at all, which is just stupid. Jalen Williams even very mad. Lou Dort's not on the list. That one I can get. Lou Dort's a motherfucker. So,
I mean, the lowest number on this list is 93.
It is a 93, so it is a very high bar.
Let's not pretend they dropped it down to 70.
It's true. It's true. Anyways, let's go to the email here. A reminder, as always, you guys can email us at hbtcpod@gmail.com. I always love hearing from you guys. I believe we have 2 emails today, both from, you guessed it, RJ. So let's start there. RJ's first email says, except no substitutes. Evening, folks. Nothing gets copied in the NBA like what won the year before, but can the Celtics formula be duplicated? Boston has a great number of players, but as someone, Oliver Fox maybe, described them recently, no one on the roster has, quote, magical abilities. That was Oliver. None of their success has relied on skill as rare or as deadly as Jokic's passing or Curry's shooting. What does set the Celtics apart is their exceptional skills and their ability to function as a unit on both ends of the court from players 1 through 8. Do you think any team in the NBA is close to replicating that degree of connectedness this year? Be well, RJ. I think the closest thing you're going to see in the next couple of years is the Thunder. I think they're close. I think they're still a little bit too ISO heavy with Shea right now. But once J-Dub sort of fill out into these more roles, like I think J-Dub is turning into a Derek White type player, maybe even better by the time he's ready, because I think he'll be a multi-time All-Star. Same with Chet, maybe like a better Porzingis, or at least this early on in his career. They don't have necessarily as good of depth as the Celtics, but I think that's the closest thing you're going to see if they stray away a little bit from the Shea handles 35 points a game type of thing. Other than that, I get the Knicks a little bit, but that still feels like a lot of it's going to be Jalen Brunson with the ball in his hands more than anything. Timberwolves, same thing with Ant. Ant's going to have the ball in his hands, and I know Tatum does too, but it's a lot more free flowing in Boston than it feels like in those things. I think the Thunder are the closest, and I don't know if anybody else is really there. Maybe the Nuggets, but that's still just a lot of Jokic.
Yeah, I think the Thunder are a good team to pick at here because they can attack you from a lot of ways. A lot, like all of their important players can make threes. Chet being, well, I guess Hartenstein isn't that guy now that he's on the team. It changed a little bit, but he's still a very good offensive player in his areas. But like a team like Minnesota, right? Like Rudy Gobert is somebody that is not a good post player. He's not going to stretch the floor. So that makes it more difficult for somebody like Ant to get downhill, to be able to have a team playing 5 out, to have 4 different safety valves every time he touches the ball. For the Celtics, I think having the options on the perimeter makes it easy, but also the ball handler not having to be a guard, but rather the wings makes it so there's more pressure on defenders because when those guys get inside, size isn't as much of an issue. If you're driving with somebody like Ant's what, 6'5"? He's still big. He's strong. He has a similar body to Jalen. When you put somebody like Tatum in there, he's able to slow down a little bit and find those guys to make the right read. And Ant still has a level to grow in that, I don't know, area. But as far as the Knicks go, it does feel like they could be a team that tries to duplicate this. They have good chemistry.
Sure.
But I think it kind of hurts them that Brunson feels like he's their only real creator.
I will say I
do
do
it
think
a little bit.
They can get a little closer because as much as you don't like him, I think you underestimate Randall's ability to create and play make for others.
To be honest with you, I forgot he was on the team.
Yep. I think Mikal Bridges can as well. I think Dante can a little bit too. So I think they are close. I just want to see what Jalen Brunson looks like when the playoffs come around. Then he doesn't have to be the only guy scoring the ball, because I think that's what we saw a lot this year. And I think if they can get away from that, which they didn't have a choice this year, so if they can get away from that, I think they'll be the closest thing.
I think Randall has to dial back the recklessness a little bit. You have to be able to trust him in that role, right?
I think he did by the end of last
in the
year.
past,
He did
where
by
he's
the end
put
of
up a lot
last year,
assists.
but the start of last year was bad.
Oh, the start of last year was my Christmas. Guy was averaging like 10 points a game on like 20% from the field. It was crazy.
Second email, RJ, last email. The first night of a new Big Three, evening, folks. With the schedule out, I looked ahead to find the game I'm looking forward to most, Saturday, November 2nd in Charlotte, because it would be the first night we're guaranteed to see the most talked about Celtics. Nimi, X, and Luke, quote, first free agent sign Cornette as the Celtics on a rotation. KP will be recovering in Al Horford's first rest management game, so we'll get to see bruising picks from Luke, great outside shooting from Tillman, and Nimi crossing the glass. Who knows? Maybe we might even see a little Anton Watson action if the Celtics blow the doors off the Hornets that night. Yes, it's definitely August, but I'm really excited to see what those guys will be able to bring in real game action. Be well, RJ, and you'll get to see what's it called, Charles Lee back,
yes,
playing against the Celtics.
And Grant.
And Grant
and Buck
and Buck.
and
Shout out
Miller.
Buck and Kemba
and Kemba.
Everyone. Celtics South.
Dude, the Hornets have been doing Celtics South for a while now.
Yeah,
gotta respect it. It.
They're trying. They're trying real hard.
Knock on wood, and I hope it's not for a while. But whenever the Celtics get bad, you may have a second team to root for in the East. Now,
Charlotte.
It's going to take a lot more for Charlotte to get good than the Celtics to get bad.
Yeah.
But it would be fun. This is a good pull by RJ, though. Like,
it'll be a fun game.
Good angle, RJ. Very good. Good work.
Shout out, RJ. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Again, a reminder, as always, email us at hbtcpod@gmail.com. Featured on the show every time we do a full pod, Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. NBA time, though. And we're talking first briefly. I think all the NBA is going to be pretty brief because none of this is significant. Joe Harris retired from the NBA. Only 32 years old. Kind of forgot he wasn't on the team currently. But Joe Harris is no longer in the NBA. He played in the league. The first thing you find when you search Joe Harris is a Team USA picture. 10 years in the league. Averaged 10 points in his career. 48 from the field. Almost 44% from three. Shooting tailed off a bit last year, but up until this past year in Detroit, he was a motherfucker from three. He hadn't shot below 40% from three since 2017. Before this past year, he was consistently 40+%. Some of these numbers don't look real. Yeah, some of these numbers don't look real. In the 2018-19 season, he shot 47.4% on over five attempts a game. And in the 2020-2021 season, he shot 47.5% on 6.4 attempts a game. And before you say, oh, how many games you play in? 76 and 69. So he was he was a
legitimate. He started on those next teams, right?
I think some of them, yeah. Shout out Joe Harris, man. He was good. He's a damn good shooter.
Joe Harris probably could have taken the 15th roster spot if he wanted it. Could have taken the speed role.
Maybe.
Same skill set. Speed, maybe a little bit more of a versatile offensive player. Like he's
definitely
more gets credit for.
Definitely more of a versatile offensive player. Joe Harris, most assists he ever averaged in a season was 2.4. And he averaged 1.6 throughout his career. So I would say he's a bit more versatile than that. Anyways, speaking of shooting, Steph Curry recently spoke, or Anthony Slater, I should say, recently wrote about Steph Curry, talking about how he's not worried about the Warriors. Anthony Slater, The Athletic, said the key Warriors stakeholders grasp Curry's sustained greatness, and team sources said that there's an internal understanding that his current supporting cast can't be considered a finished product if the 25 NBA championship is not is believed to be a reachable goal. Curry was in on the recruitment of Paul George. Dunleavy keeps him in on the loop on the options and ultimate personnel decisions. Curry hasn't, team sources said, expressed any signs of panic or unrest, but there's a choice of action or inaction in the coming months that'll give a clear hint about his long-term mindset. My question to you is, did the Warriors get better? Because I contend, yes, I think they did get better, but I don't know.
This is going to be a similar discussion to the Magic, not in the sense that the Warriors didn't make moves.
Good moves.
They did.
Yes.
To me, Melton was a great signing. Like, he's a good player. He plays both ends of the floor. He had a really good stint with Philly, and he was good with Memphis. But I think the biggest measuring stick for them, the thing that's really going to drive them, does Kuminga get better? Is he able to do more when they ask more of him? And does
Podziemski.
Podziemski go forward a little bit? I think we talked about it. It's like, yes, he had a good rookie season, but like, what's actually going to come out of this? Like, he might just be like DiVincenzo. Like, that might be what you get out of him forever. And
That's damn good though. It's damn
he's
good.
a good player, but he's not
Yeah.
like a co-star. He's not Clay. He's never going
He's
to
not
be
an all-star. Yes.
So that's where the
but
question comes in. And
I
Kuminga
think
is the biggest guy for me.
sure. I agree. But I think trading out Klay Thompson and Paul George, Klay Thompson, by the way, who I think got slandered a bit too much. He's still a fine player. He still shot very well in high volume of threes. Not the same defender he was, but he's fine, right? He's not an all-star, and that's what people are comparing him to, but he's a fine role player at this point in his
The
career.
0 of 10
right?
Warriors finale is what is burned in everyone's brains.
Sure. And that's the product of people not being able to think past 2 seconds ago. Whatever. But replacing Klay Thompson and Chris Paul with Buddy Hield, D'Anthony Melton, and Kyle Anderson, pretty damn good. Like, you did a pretty damn good job replacing those guys, and I think it's better. I think the other point, which you were hinting at, is the West is just stacked. Like, it's just going to be a motherfucker to get out of the Western Conference this year. And so I don't know if they can or will do that. So I don't feel great. I think the Warriors will make the playoffs again this year. I don't think they'll have another year like last year where they completely missed it. I think the Chris Paul fit was awkward, but I think the Warriors could get into the playoffs this year, but they won 46 games last year and were the 10 seed. So that should tell you how good the West is. So
the real interesting part here that Slater mentions is like, whatever happens in the coming months is going to tell you what they think. If they're like struggling at the gates, they do have pieces to make trades. Like these guys they brought in the summer, if they don't fit right, they could flip them for somebody else if they're really desperate. Depends how the Kuminga thing goes, but like he's always been rumored to be someone that might get traded. I know that there's rumblings of an extension coming down the pipe here, but they just it almost feels like they have a responsibility to not make this like Kobe's final years in the NBA where like the Lakers were just ass. But it feels like that the Lakers got there because like they were trying too hard to make it for Kobe. So
the Warriors weren't ass last year. The West was just great. They won 46 games. That's a solid basketball team.
Yes.
Just tough out West, man. Next thing, couple teams teasing or leaking potential new jerseys. The Raptors tweeted an eyeball emoji, and they changed their profile picture to honor their 30th anniversary, which I think is this upcoming season, and it's all purple. They put out a graphic of the NBA Cup where Scotty Barnes is wearing his normal jersey, but there's like a little cutout of the Vince Carter jersey, the purple one. So everyone's speculating they might bring back those purples, which I think might be the best jerseys in NBA history. They're up there. They're top 5 in NBA history. I don't give a fuck. I've never been. I think. Hot take, and I think we've talked about this before. I think Celtics jerseys are kind of boring. I get why they're cool.
They're boring, but there is like a classicness to them.
Sure, but I don't care about that. Like that's just me. I like cool jerseys.
I think the Raptors design is a very fun, like creative design, and I think it works for them.
Like my eyes,
I completely agree with you.
Like for me personally, like my taste, I think the best jerseys in NBA history are like that purple Raptors one, the Nuggets rainbow one, those were sick. The Jazz ones, like those are cool.
The Jazz ones are
Miami
really
Vice. Like I those are the jerseys that I like. I just think like the classic Celtics. I know everyone loves them and there's nostalgia. They're boring. Like I just think they're boring. I'd love to see them do something fun with a statement or an alternate. Like I think it'd be sick, but Alternates, I know everyone in Boston likes that.
No, if they do a good job with it where it doesn't look fucking stupid, sure.
Yes, just steal from Pete Rogers. Yes, like that's all you got to do, guys. Come on. But literally the Grizzlies also Grizzlies jerseys or I should say shorts also got leaked. This sports logo net guy leaks a bunch of stuff, but these are some leaked Grizzlies unis. Very cool. very
speaking of sick. Like that Raptors
50s,
jersey, like these Grizzlies shorts coincide with that. Like the Grizzlies uniforms from the 1990s are like what pops into my head when you talk about the Raptors. Like it's like in the same category.
Yep. They should also just change back to the Memphis Blues or the Memphis Jazz, and then the Jazz get the Mountains or something like that. Switch back. Utah Jazz doesn't make any fucking sense. Let's be real. But excited for new jerseys. Excited for the Jazz new jerseys, even though those don't come into effect till the season after this one. Those are sick too.
I am a little excited to see what the Celtics do this year. So here's what I know about
Progress. Let's go.
Well,
That's huge for you.
I'm maybe excited is the wrong word. I'm curious. I'm curious
well,
whether
shit.
or not I'm going to be excited
We
about what
tried.
they do. The problem with the city editions is apparently that they have it's a 2-year process. So they start the city edition design 2 years before they actually come out. If it was like a year cycle thing, I would be more excited because I would feel like they were going to do something for the title.
I think that could get you more excited now, though, because Pete started his jersey thing 2 years ago. So if they were going to rip Pete, it would come out this year.
This is true. It is true, but
I'm not saying I want that because I want Pete to get the credit. But if they were to, like, this could be a T jersey or a Duncan jersey or
my
a
maximum
jersey.
excitement would be a championship themed jersey.
Sure.
Gold trim or just straight up gold font on the jersey or a gold jersey. Like, I don't know. Finding some creative way to do it would be really
I think
good.
that's the type of thing you release to sell, but not necessarily wear. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, they wore gold trim on Banner Night in 2009 or 2008, 2009.
Sure, but like do something small. Don't make a whole jersey for it. Like just add like a little flair to your normal jersey. I think that's how I would celebrate a championship, not like making a whole thing. I don't know. I don't know why that sounds like weird in my head or like too much. Like I think just celebrate it with like a trim or like the patch or something. Like maybe a patch. I think that would be more better than I think that'd be better than like a whole ass jersey, but I'm excited for that. Half of our conversation for your Reddit post of the day got cut off last episode because of our technical difficulties. So let's dive into this one.
Smoked by StreamYard last time.
We did. What you got for your Reddit post of the day today?
Today's Reddit post of the day comes from user team_Ed. He posts she posts in the NBA subreddit. What's the most underrated single season in NBA history? Bonus points for finding a season that's not just forgotten, but was overlooked in awards voting that year. My pick, 2008-2009, not my pick, user Ed's pick. Chris Paul, 2008-2009, 23 points, 11 assists, 5.5 rebounds, almost 3 steals a game at 59.9% true shooting with good enough defense that he was sixth.
Player season.
Yeah. Sixth in Defensive Player of the Year voting. He willed New Orleans to 49 wins in the 7th seed with an injury-plagued starting lineup of David West, Rasul Butler, Tyson Chandler, and an old Peja Stojakovic. By win shares, it would rank the 16th best MVP season of all time, ahead of every MVP season by anyone not named Kareem, Will, Oscar, Jordan, LeBron, or Shaq. But he finished 5th in voting that year behind Bron, Kobe, Wade, and Dwight in that order, and was only 2nd team All-NBA behind Wade and Kobe at guard. And yes, the Hornets lost the first round to a good Nuggets team. If it wasn't for the season, I'd pick Wade from the same year.
That's a good one. That is pretty good. I feel like I have to go back and look at like some sets. Do you have one that jumps to your mind first?
I mean, no, because Isaiah got credit for that borderline MVP season he had.
You know what's a good one? Paul George 2018-19, top 3 defensive player of the year and MVP, but no one talked about it because Giannis did the same thing and James Harden actually won the award. Paul George that year in the Thunder.
For OKC.
Yeah. And he averaged 28, 8, and 4 on 44, 39 splits, took 10 threes a game, 2.2 steals. And no one remembers it because that was the year Dame sent him packing. And that's it. It's period. Done. I'm just looking back at potential ones. Oh my God, I didn't realize this was a thing. 24-year-old Anthony Davis on the Pelicans averaged 28, 11, 2.3 assists, 1.5 steals, 2.6 blocks.
This is what happens when you play New Orleans.
No one talks about it, brother.
Isaiah,
obviously.
That's the one that always pops into my head. One of the top the top comment. Muggsy Bogues, 93-94 season, averaging 10, 10, and 4 at 5'3" is outrageous.
That is crazy. Rudy Gay
reply to that says, not to mention actually contributing on defense, big guys couldn't dribble anywhere near him or he'd steal the ball.
Yeah. Rudy Gay averaged 21, 6, and 4 in 2015.
Rudy Gay had some seasons, man.
Rudy Gay was a motherfucker.
He was a good stats, bad team guy for a while.
It sucked because he was a good player.
Celtics related one.
Yeah.
Tiny Archibald had a season where he was 34 points per game and 11.4 assists while shooting 49% from the field. Next highest score on his team was 13.5 points per game. He only finished third for MVP. Tiny did get more first place votes than Kareem, who came in second. Cowens came in first and has become probably one of the most forgotten MVP winners, partially because I think he's the only one to end up on second team All-NBA.
One of the first James Harden Clippers teams, Omer Ashik, averaged 10 and 12.
You mean the Rockets?
Rockets, sorry. Yeah, what did I say? Clippers?
There was a period of time where Omer Ashik was somebody that was being floated as a Celtics target, and it was a legitimately exciting thing.
Omer Ashik, man. That's wild.
What a time.
Omer Ashik. What else?
Someone said 16-17 Isaiah Thomas was the greatest thing I got to watch as a fan of Boston Celtics outside of championships.
That's a good one. There were some good Amari Stoudemire years in there. He flies under the radar in a lot of good player discussions. But 2011, dude averaged 25 a game. No one talks about it.
A lot of T-Mac discussion. 2003 T-Mac, Orlando averaged 98 points per game. He averaged 32.
Josh Smith. You remember Josh Smith?
Yes.
In 10, Josh Smith averaged 16, almost 9 and 4, 1.6 steals, 2.1 blocks. Do you know who good random player? This is a random one. You remember Terrence Jones?
Yes.
Rockets. I remember watching him and thinking he was great. Dude, second season in the NBA. He can, or first few seasons in the NBA, he averaged 5 his first year, his rookie year, didn't play much. Second season, averaged 12 and 7 on 54-30 splits. Didn't shoot many threes, but he shot meh. Then next year, 12 and 7 on 53-35, 9 and 4, 11 and 6, 11 and 6, and then he was just out the league. Just consistent, 11 and something player, and then he's just gone.
I feel like Eric Gordon had some forgotten
Eric
seasons.
Gordon did too.
When he was playing on bad teams,
for sure.
Maybe spent some time in New Orleans where they were probably around 9-10 and he was averaging a lot of points, but they just couldn't quite get it together. Somebody on here said Kevin Love 2010, 2011, 20.2 points, 15.2 rebounds, 42% from 3.
15.2 rebounds is outrageous. That's insane.
18-19 Blake Griffin in Detroit. Insane how he got that team to 500. He gave his all to that team and sacrificed his body, but people hated Kevin Durant so badly they flamed Blake Griffin for being injured.
Yes. Blake was awesome that year. He was ridiculous. Michael Redd had some quietly nasty scoring seasons. Oh my God, wait. Sean Marion, 27 in Phoenix, averaged 22, 12, 2, 2, 2.
That's unbelievable.
That's fucking insane. While shooting 52.5% from field, 33% from deep. All-star. Sean Marion, 4-time All-star, by the way. 2-time All-NBA.
Here's a fun comment.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I don't think the people who didn't experience it realize how incredible the Gilbert Arenas Hibachi season was. Nearly 30 points per game as a proper 3-level scorer. This was pre-Steph, and his range was insane.
Hibachi season?
Yes, Hibachi season.
The
book was Macro Phenomenal Pro Basketball Almanac, had a deep dive into the season where they realized the further away he was from the three-point line, the higher his shooting percentage would be.
Wow. This was fun. I enjoyed this. Marcus Aldridge probably had some good ones too, but any others before we move on to the route list here?
Yeah, final one.
1994-95
Dana Barros is as obscure of a great season as you'll ever find. Dude was 5'11", average 20 points, 7.5 assists on 49 and 46 and 90 splits while shooting impressive volume threes for that era, 4.6 per game. That's 63% true shooting in an era that was not known for optimizing shooting efficiency.
Hell yeah.
It's just he was stuck on the awful post-Barkley, all pre-AI Sixers teams and never really recreated his success. But dude was an absolute offensive juggernaut that season.
Bucket. Dana Barrow Center, 5 minutes from my house. Shout out Dana Barrow.
Had to shout out the Massachusetts legend.
What a beast. All right, rat list time, Sam. What you got for me?
Rat list. I don't know how to it's not really a rat list, but
Sure.
there is a rat list that is involved in me telling this story. So last night, me and the lady ordered some chicken. And the reason why we ordered chicken from the specific place that we had ordered chicken from last night is because a friend of hers had ordered this chicken on DoorDash. And the DoorDash delivery
What's it
driver,
called?
I don't remember off the top of my head.
All right, that's fine.
It's like some local place. It's pretty good. It was very good. I will be going back. The DoorDash delivery driver was actually on a bike, and somebody punched the DoorDash delivery person in the face and stole the chicken. So we have determined that the chicken must be pretty good to rob the DoorDash driver over.
Did they go back, get you more chicken, and bring it, and then tell you the
It
story?
wasn't us. It was a friend of hers that had told us the story of the guy getting robbed, which led to us buying the chicken.
I see. I thought this happened on the way to deliver your food, and that would have been a lot funny.
But if you own a restaurant and somebody is assaulted over your food, that's something you plaster everywhere.
No. Maybe
No,
you don't plaster someone getting
food's so
assaulted.
good, somebody may punch you in the face to take it.
Or someone's so hungry they're desperate for whatever the fuck you got on you.
If I'm punching somebody in the face, I'm looking to see what I'm punching them for first.
Or you're homeless and would like to eat something that day. We burned all our good rat lists on the last show and it got cut off. I don't want to repeat my stories though. Rat list, moving sister into college, that was one of mine. Anti-rat list. I don't even remember. You can't go look it up either because it's gone. Anti-rat list. We're going to a golf thing at Fenway. It's like they set it up and you just play golf holes at Fenway Park, hitting around the stadium, and I'm very excited for it. So that's gonna be fun. Rat list though, it starts at 7:40 a.m. So I'm gonna be very tired and I'm not excited to wake up.
Oh my gosh, big day for
Yeah.
you. It's a
Probably
real
shouldn't say
shame.
Yeah.
Rat list. My gosh, I fucking had it. What the fuck? Oh, rat list, The Bachelorette. We're back. We did the Bachelor a while ago.
I like The Bachelor and Bachelorette.
Yesterday, I'm again hanging out with the lady, and she's like, "You got to see this." I'm like, "Okay." So she shows me this segment from The Bachelorette where apparently they have all the guys do a group date with the girl, which is always bizarre to me. But anyways, their date was to go and essentially do a podcast, which was, again, bizarre. But what they're doing is giving them words and they're doing word association. She's like, watch what this guy says. And the guy happens to be named Sam. Not very nice. Bad representation of Sam's. And they say the girl's name, the bachelorette's name, and they're all giving different words beautiful, intelligent, whatever they have to say. What does Sam say? He says fire.
It's you.
I was like, this is meant for me. But then I was showed this because it's a bad thing. I'm like, well, what's wrong with saying something's fire? I love saying something's fire. I say it all the time. I think that's actually a good topic.
So is The Bachelorette the one where there's one girl and then a bunch of guys, right?
Correct.
So there's one girl, there's this girl on TikTok. And so they filmed this this was probably filmed a year ago, right? A long time ago, whatever. And it's a thing. Okay. This girl on TikTok is dating one of the guys on The Bachelorette, after his time in The Bachelorette.
Spoiling it.
No, but so she's watching The Bachelorette now, though, and every time.
Oh, that's a bad deal. That's not fair. If I'm that guy, I'm like, you can't watch this.
But she's posting her reactions on TikTok, and so she's sitting there. She's like his dad, this guy got far. He like got to the stage where they're like meeting the families of the guys and stuff.
Yeah.
And so the dad comes up and he's like, I don't know about this one. And she goes, you tell him, Gary. Like, fuck yeah. Like, it's just really funny, like watching multiple things. That's the only reason I know the Bachelorette's going on, because I was just watching this person on my TikTok pop up and like talk about her boyfriend being on the show. And like he's like kissing her and she's just like falling on the floor, like, no, like, how could you? Like,
the best part of this episode she showed me is like, you know how like they pull them to the side and have them like talk in the camera?
Yeah.
Like by themselves.
Yep.
Pretty sure he was like, yeah, like when I first joined this show, like it was before they determined who the Bachelorette was. I was really hoping it would be this one or this one, and it wasn't. It's like some other girl. He's just like talking like, yeah, not really my type. Man, it is fire. But he has given us all a
come
bad
on
name
now.
being a Sam.
Yeah.
It's very tough.
Tough
But
luck
it
for
really is
Sams.
professional wrestling for women, because she's like, this is the
It's
villain.
true.
Like, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I would not be shocked if they were giving him a bad edit. Like, if they were just like taking what he was saying and just really splicing together so he looks bad. Granted, some of his performance is very bad. Like, she was like, what do you like? Why me? Like, why do you like me? And he's like stumbling for like 3 minutes, and he's like, well, I love you.
Fail. Tough. That's a tough one. I don't have any more else. That's all I got today. I had pretty
Yeah, that's
light
what we got
slate.
today.
All right. Well, we'll keep it up next time. Anyways, appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe to How About Them Celtics on YouTube and Spotify and all that good stuff. And I'll let Sam take it out.
Thank you very much for listening and watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Leave a like, hit the bell. You don't want to miss any of our daily content. New stuff at 5 a.m. every morning. Full pods Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. Game recaps the morning after each game and other videos in between to keep you busy. Again, subscribe to the channel. Leave a like. Hit the bell. You can find us on Spotify and Apple too. All pods and game recaps are there for you. If you follow, they go right to your feed. Nice and easy to find. Leave a 5-star review. We'd appreciate that very much. You can email us, hbtcpod@gmail.com. The address is right there on the screen. You can send in your thoughts on the team, send your thoughts on the ticket price, send your thoughts on the schedule. Send your rat list. hbtcpod@gmail.com. You can also find us on socials at How About Them C's for Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Facebook's the name of the podcast. Our streams are there. They're on YouTube. They're on Twitter. Jack's Twitter's at JacksOneNBA. Mine's at Sam LaFrance NBA. That's it for us.
Tic-tac-toe.